Welcome to the My Citizen Agency channel. Today we want to discuss a very important question that our clients often ask. What is the difference between European Union citizenship, a residence permit, and permanent residence? At first glance, it may seem that all these statuses are similar, but in reality, the differences are enormous, and it is these differences that determine your freedom of movement, your legal protection, and your opportunities for business, family, and the future. So, let's take a closer look. A residence permit is the first step for a foreigner who wants to live in a European Union country. With a residence permit, you get the right to live in a specific country under certain conditions, the opportunity to study or work, but most often within the framework of a specific program or quota, access to medical care and education, which may be limited compared to citizens, the opportunity to travel within the Schengen area, but within the established time limits. However, it is very important to understand, a residence permit is always a temporary status. It is valid for 1 to several years and requires regular renewal. Your stay in the country directly depends on the grounds you have chosen for obtaining a residence permit. These may include studying at a university, working under a contract, doing business, investing, or family reunification. Each of these grounds has its own requirements and restrictions. For example, if your residence permit was issued for study purposes, it will expire after you graduate from university. If it was issued for work purposes, you must maintain your employment contract. If it was issued for business or investment purposes, you must confirm that the company is active and that the conditions are being met. Have you broken the rules? Lost your job? Failed to renew your residence permit on time? Your legal status in the country may be terminated. And in most cases, you have very little time to restore your status. It's like renting an apartment. As long as you pay and fulfill the terms of the contract, you can live there. But there is no guarantee for the future. At any moment, the contract may not be renewed or the rules may change. Therefore, it is a mistake to treat a residence permit as something permanent. It is only the first step, a temporary opportunity to settle in the country, but not a guarantee of a stable future. The next step is permanent residence. What it gives you, the right to live in the country indefinitely, without the need for constant renewal every 2 years, access to more social benefits and guarantees than a residence permit holder. In some countries, the right to freely change jobs or engage in business without strict restrictions. At first glance, it may seem that permanent residence solves all problems, but there are limitations here as well. It is important to remember. Permanent residence is always linked to one specific country. Once you obtain it, you gain stability in that particular country, but not throughout the European Union. To maintain this status, you are required not only to obey the law, but also to actually live in that country. Many countries require permanent residents to be present in the country for at least 6 months of the year. If you leave the country for a long time, for example, if you decide to live in another country or go on a long business trip, there is a risk that your status will be revoked. Permanent residence can be compared not to a lease like a residence permit, but to a long-term contract. You have more stability. No one forces you to prove your right to reside every 2 years, but the contract still has caveats. You get a reliable residence permit, but you do not become part of the country's political system, you do not participate in elections, you are not entitled to a passport, and you do not have all the freedoms of a citizen. In other words, you are a permanent resident, but not a citizen. You have rights, but they are limited to one country. This means that you will not be able to move to another EU country and build a life there under the same conditions. Now we move on to the most important thing, European Union citizenship. Once you obtain a passport from one of the EU countries, you become not just a citizen of a specific country, Spain, Portugal, Germany, or any other country. You automatically acquire the status of a citizen of the entire European Union. What this means in practice? Freedom of movement. You can live, work, and study in any EU country without restrictions or additional permits. Today, you are in Italy, tomorrow in Austria, and in a year, in France. All this is completely legal and without bureaucracy. full social protection, you have access to public healthcare, education, pensions, and all social guarantees on an equal footing with local citizens, the ability to do business in any EU country. You enjoy the benefits of the single European market, uniform standards, common laws, and freedom of economic activity, participation in political life. You have the right to vote and be elected to shape the future of the country in which you live, diplomatic protection. When outside the EU, you can seek assistance not only from your country's consulate, but also from the consulates of other EU countries if there is no representation of your country nearby. This is the key difference. Citizenship is not a lease, a temporary contract, or a status with restrictions. It is your inalienable right, enshrined in law and protected at the international level. Neither work, nor business, nor even a change of country of residence can deprive you of this right. With a European Union passport, you are free to choose where to build your life and that of your family, just as millions of Europeans do. Do you want to send your child to study in Paris, start a company in Berlin, or retire peacefully in warm Portugal? All this is possible without any additional barriers. That is why EU citizenship is the pinnacle of the immigration path. It gives you not only rights and privileges, but also long-term stability, confidence in the future, and true freedom of choice. Many people think, I already have a residence permit, so I'm almost a citizen. Unfortunately, this is an illusion, and a very dangerous one at that. Let's break it down. With a residence permit, you are limited to a specific country and the validity period of the document. Today you have it, but tomorrow, at the slightest mistake or change in circumstances, it may not be renewed. With permanent residence, you have slightly more rights, but you are still dependent on the rules of a specific country. It's like having a permanent residence permit, but only in one place on the map. Only EU citizenship gives you access to the entire European Union and makes you a full member of European society, with all the rights and opportunities that come with it. Imagine, you have permanent residence in Spain. You can live there as long as you want. But if tomorrow you want to move to work in Germany, France, or the Netherlands, you will have to go through separate procedures, obtain new permits, and fill out new documents. Now imagine another scenario. You have an EU passport. You wake up in the morning and decide you want to live in Vienna, or I want to start a business in Prague, or I want my child to attend university in London. And you just go ahead and do it, without barriers. That is why it is important not to confuse. A residence permit and permanent residence are just steps. Citizenship is the pinnacle. It is freedom of choice and confidence in the future. Let me give you a few practical examples that clearly illustrate the difference between a residence permit, permanent residence, and EU citizenship. A family with children. With a residence permit, your child has the right to attend school in the country where you live. But if you want to move, for example, from Portugal to Germany, you will have to apply for new documents and confirm your right of residence. With an EU passport, your child can study freely at any European school or university, and in many cases on preferential terms available only to citizens. This means that education becomes not only high quality, but also more affordable, business person or investor. With permanent residence, you are limited to one country. Let's say you have permanent residence in Spain. To start a business in France or Poland, you will have to go through the local bureaucratic procedures again. With EU citizenship, you become a member of the single European market. You can open a company in any country, enjoy freedom of movement of capital, and access subsidies and grants for citizens. Traveling. A residence permit or permanent residence allows you to move freely within the Schengen area, but that's where the benefits end. You will still need visas to travel outside Europe. With an EU passport, you have visa-free access to more than 180 countries, from the US and Canada to Australia, Japan, and Singapore. This opens up completely new horizons for both business and leisure, personal prospects. With a residence permit or permanent residence, you have limited opportunities for a professional career. Many companies prefer to hire citizens as it is easier and more reliable. With EU citizenship, you have the right to work in any EU country without additional permits. Moreover, you become as attractive a candidate to employers as local residents. That is why EU citizenship is not just a new document. It is a tool that opens up opportunities for the whole family, for business, for careers, and even for future generations. So let's summarize once again. A residence permit is always temporary. You are dependent on the conditions and terms set by the state. You have the document today, but tomorrow it may not be renewed. Permanent residence is more stable, but still has limitations. You are strictly tied to one country and deprived of freedom of choice within the European Union. EU citizenship means absolute freedom. You can live, work, study, develop your business, and build a future for your family anywhere in Europe, just like Europeans themselves do. Citizenship is not just a new document in your passport. It is an investment in your stability, security, and your children's future. It is the confidence that tomorrow you will choose where and how to live, and no external circumstances will be able to take that right away from you. That is why it is so important to strive not to stop at a residence permit or permanent residence, but to go all the way to European Union citizenship. If you want to figure out which immigration path is best for you, we can help. Sign up for a free consultation at the link in the description. We will study your situation, draw up your personal immigration plan, and prepare a complete set of documents for successfully obtaining citizenship in one of the European Union countries. Thank you for watching this video. If you are interested in this topic, subscribe to our channel and feel free to ask questions in the comments. We regularly publish program reviews, answer frequently asked questions, and share important news about immigration law and life in the EU. Your journey to Europe begins with the first step. My Citizen Agency is there for you every step of the way.